Welcome, everybody. Turns out my palette cam is not working at the moment, but I don't really need that right now, so you know what? I am gonna worry about that. That's that one. What I need is this one fixed. Plug, replug. Cool, I did pick the right one. Give me half second here. Hi, Miss Putums. I have my cat yelling at me. So I hope everybody's having a good day. Now that I got that fixed. Today, as I previously mentioned, I know a lot of you are seeing the. Oh, I need to turn my volume down on the phone. 2-0. There we go. Perfect. Um, we have some locks in front of me today. As mentioned in Discord a couple of weeks ago now, I was gonna talk about lockpicking a little bit. Go over some like general basics and like the stuff that I know, and answer any questions that you all may have. So first things first, let's look at like some actual lockpicks. Um, all of these have different names, all different shapes. Um, it's I don't remember all of the like all of the names for all of the shapes. I know these are rakes, and then you got your normal picks and stuff like that. It's basically one of those things of you know every every pick is going to be kind of for is going to have a different use, going to have different you know uh, lock setup that it will be good for. Um, so yeah, there's that. Like in a lockpicking set, and you can get these off of Amazon, shit like that. Like that's where I got these ones. I have a really really shitty set that I got off of Wish like forever ago. That I don't use anymore. It's like ultra thin, slim, and you can like put it in your wallet. I may actually carry it around with me just in case. But I don't like it because like it doesn't. They don't have nice handles on them. Um, Now, as far as one of the things I want to touch on, the legality of lock picking. So, obviously, consult your local laws. I'm not, you know, I am not a, I'm not in law enforcement. I don't have a background in law. But make sure that you're looking up, what the laws in your area are. I know for me, there are regulations around like owning lockpicks and stuff like that, but there are like they're unenforceable. Um, so it basically makes them void. Which so owning lockpicks perfectly legal. General, at least for me, look look it up in your look up your local laws for it. Don't just say, hey, some random asshole on the internet said it's legal. Um, Now, what what I'd like to do first is kind of cover the theory behind lockpicking. So we're gonna move that off to the side, close that down. We're gonna move these locks out of the way. And we're gonna pull down the handy dandy sketchbook that I very rarely ever fucking use, which I should use more. I originally bought it for miniature painting purposes, but that's neither here nor there. Take a puff off the vape. Oh, yeah, that was for that. That was for planning something else out. Okay, here we go. It's art time. So, and I have a couple different pencils to use here for this. Actually, what I want to do, where is... Ah, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, I need to sharpen my colored pencil here. Just sharpen, damn it. Good enough. Let's get... There, good enough. Okay. What? Oh, I see what's going on because my bot for my Twitch chat. Aha. Okay. Anyway, here. So let's start with the basics. And let's do a very, very poor diagram of a lock. So you have your main body of the lock. And then you're going to have a circular bit in here, which this is, I do believe the technical term for this is the barrel. So this is where your key goes in. This is the rotating part of the lock. And you can see that on, so these are practice locks. They're essentially clear acrylic around, you know, that. And they kind of show off the like the pins and springs and stuff like that. So like right here is where you have, here, I'll use this deadbolt style lock. So you have your little barrel part right there. And then above that, you're going to have pins. So, you know, it's going to be cut out like so. This is not really to scale. But they're going to be channels, basically. Like that. Going all the way to the front. It's as though this lock that I'm drawing here has 6 pins. Now, how, you know, how the lock does its thing is you're going to have pairs of pins. So, like, let's say this one is a short pin, and there's a longer pin, and then there's a spring. And then this one's like a normal size pin, or like a bigger pin. That might be shorter. And so on and so forth. Going all the way down, you'll have various sized pins. Some of them are essentially 0, where they don't like need to actually be push up at all type deal. A couple more just because that way I don't do. And okay, so each of these locks has a pin in it. Or sorry, each of these channels has a pin. Well, it has 2 pins basically, because there's the driver pin and the set pin. And at least one spring. Some of them look like they may have two that are kind of just stacked one on top of the other. So, coffee time. Mm. So what happens is the top pin here, the driver pin, it basically the top and the driver pin basically act in unison, or like these two pins act as one. Um, until the right key is put in and all of these bottom pins here are essentially pushed up flush with the top of this barrel piece. At that point, there's essentially there's a break that's created and the lock can turn. It's super simple fucking concept. So how like essentially how lock picking works is, and we'll do a this way. We're gonna make it look like this. Boop. And then you have the cylinder bit right here. And then you have your pins going up this way. And then this is where you stick your key in. This is where the pins sit. And like basically the pins will be in here, blocking you from being able to actually rotate the lock. Simple concept. It's the way pretty much all locks work when you break it right down to the basics. Some more complex locks will have more little tricks to them. They'll have pins in different places. They won't all be in a uniform line like this. When I was first looking into lock picking and stuff like that, I had one of the channels that I had watched a metric shit ton of is the Lockpicking Lawyer, and I'll probably after this stream becomes a video, I'll probably update the description and you know toss a link to his channel in there. Super fucking informative. He goes really good at picking locks. He goes over all sorts of different types of locks. He actually even breaks them down on the video to show you the different pins that are used. Because there's a bunch of different types of pins apparently. To kind of try and thwart people who are trying to pick locks, like you know, spool-shaped pins, or you know, pins that have like ridges in them and stuff like that, to kind of make it seem like you have quote unquote set your pin when you haven't. But that's something I'll go over in a little bit. But essentially, what you're trying to do is you are trying to with lock picking is you're applying a rotational force on your keyway to force the pins kind of in there to bind. So what you like, one of the things that you want to do with that, or like essentially what that does is it basically makes it so that friction is going to hold any pins that you have set in place. And here, I'll actually just do a brief or a quick example. Not sure how quick it's going to be. Sometimes I have issues. Like, I've picked these locks a bunch of times. So, like, I basically know how to do them. But sometimes they do act as a pain in the ass. So, you have your lock. You can see here that this is locked. Are these keys for this one? I think these keys are for this one. Okay, so you see that this works. Spin it around. I have the key for it. Now it's locked. Right, these are the keys for it. So working lock, you see that it works. I have the key for it. Tools that you generally need. So for single pin picking, which is what I'm going to be doing here, you need a pick that'll poke one pin at a time, and you need a tension bar of some sort. Now there are a few different styles of tension bar. I'll just pull out all the ones that I have. And like there's different thicknesses, different lengths, stuff like that. These S shapes where it's kind of in line, they probably have a technical name. I don't know what it is. I'm not a huge fan of them. I don't feel that they are very comfortable when I'm using them. So then you'll have this style here. This one, it works. I don't like pressing on the round bit. It's just personal preference. It works just as well as this one here. And yeah, do that, or if you were so inclined, you could. Well, actually, this one even I could rotate the other way, so I could hold it like that and push with my thumb. The main point with whatever pressure bar you choose with how you feel comfortable, or like what you feel comfortable using, is you need it to apply that rotational force on your keyway. So like, boom, there. Now all of the pins are being held with just a little bit of pressure. All of the pins are basically, well, sorry, it took the keyway from that and it kind of offset it a bit. So now this is binding on all of these driver pins that are still down. Let me get a good grip here. I should like 3D print like a mounting for this one so that I can have it like in situ and do it that way. I think that would be pretty cool. But we're gonna go in, and then essentially you just start from the front and work your way back. First pin. Okay, I got that set, it feels like. Second pin, no click. Third pin felt like a click. Back, it feels close. Missing the fourth pin here. I'll let off pressure a little bit. Oh, damn it. I let off pressure too much. Okay, and then, yeah, so in any situation like that, where if you essentially like overset something or you get kind of stuck, you can always relieve the pressure. Everything will go back to the start position, and you can start over from scratch. There's 1. 3 is fine. 4. Bam. There we go. And it is unlocked. And relocked. So that's basically one style of picking. Now there are lots of different methods for getting into a lock. There's the single pin picking, which I did there, not very skillfully, but it is what it is. There is raking. You could, for some locks, especially padlocks such as this guy here. There are a lot of brands where you can use a shim and kind of go in through the top here. Now this one is made a little bit more intelligently, and I do believe, yeah, it's essentially like, I would say it's probably shim proof. But that being said, it is a acrylic block. It wouldn't I wouldn't put this on anything. Not to secure it anyway. But yeah, so you can see if you look at the side here, you can see there's 6 pins. And I wonder, can I actually, haha, I can. So we're gonna show, I'm not sure, I'm not 100% sure how well this is gonna show up on camera, me doing this. Or, there we go. We'll just hold you right there. This is gonna be difficult because I've never picked a lock from this perspective before. So first pin is good. It's not binding at all. Second pin. Looks like I got it, but there was no real click. Third pin. Not binding. Fourth pin. No. Fifth pin. And all the way to the back now. Come on. Pin 6. Now, what I will usually do is, yeah, then just kind of go through and lightly touch the other pins. So we're gonna do that again. So essentially, what you do, you start from the beginning. So pin 1, pin 2, that looks like it's set. Pin 3, pin 4, pin 5, and then pin 6, and then come back. Because sometimes they're not going to set in like, oh, this one first, then this one. You have to kind of go through. Like I knew, like the first two, you could see them set. That the fifth one there decided it wanted to like the thickness of the pin basically was like, no, no, I'm not ready to set yet until the sixth pin was set. Once that sixth pin was set, then it started binding. And then it gave me the ability to actually set that pin. Honestly, single pin picking is one of the slower ways of doing it. There's also raking, which is much, much faster. Put you back into the keyway. Now, I prefer doing bottom of the keyway tension. However, you can, and some locks you actually have to, do top of the keyway, where you're basically your pick is in front of the pins themselves. And that's going to depend on the geometry of this bit here, which will work better for you, and also like what you like doing. Because, you know, if you're one of those people who's like, you know what, I want to use this here flat pick, and I feel more comfortable with the lock that I'm picking right now with this pick here, and I'm gonna, I think this would be, yeah, this would probably be better for top of the keyway. This style of pick. Bam, top of the keyway, there you go. And then you go in with your pick, bam, raked. This, I do believe the actual term for it is a city rake, because like it has kind of like profile of a city. But yeah, I much prefer myself bottom of the keyway. Go in, basically do the same shit. Bam. But yeah, so like I said, there's various different types. Like there's different types of rakes. These ones I do believe are for either like the keys that have the pins, or like the locks that have the pins in like the side of the key. I don't have that much experience. I've only been doing this as a hobby for, you know, maybe a year, and it's not even like my main hobby. Away. In. There we go. Boom. Perfect. So I've done that one, I've done that one. Let's do this one. This one sometimes gives me a pain, sometimes it's a bit of a pain in the ass. Both of these locks are different, are keyed differently. And this one's the easier one. I think it only really has 2 pins to worry about. If I remember correctly, it's I got, come on. There we go. That one, that one. Oh no, there's the number 6. Yeah, I gotta get 6 set. And I set 4. Or sorry, 3, then I set 1. Now on this side, it's usually 3 that gives me the issue on this one. So we'll go to the back. We're gonna start from the back this time. So you're good. You're good. You're good. And like even inserting the pick itself kind of started the job for me. There we go. 6 was just out of set. Bam. Yeah, like that. Now one of the things as well is you can like overset pins. I think I want to try and see if I can show an example of that where like the pin is set too high. There. No, it's not going to do it for me. Damn it. But yeah, you can over insert the pin. I'll just kind of show you where the pin itself is like up really high. That's like ridiculously too high. But I don't know if you can see it, but the shear line between the 2 pins is like I'm gonna say about 2 millimeters above where the lock barrel is, like where that shear line is. So like in a situation like that, basically all you can really do is release the tension and start over again. Um oh, I do so love me some coffee. But yeah, so really sure what more to go over. Like I said at the beginning, I'll kind of touch base on this again. The way, like I said, the way that locks work and lock picking works specifically. Well, the way that locks work, obviously, you have multiple pins in your little pathways here that are being given that have essentially a spring forcing them down as far as they can go. You can see that. Again, not sure how well it's going to show up for all of you. Actually, I can see that pretty clear from here on my computer screen, so perfect. So each set of pins is being driven, and there's a downward force effectively. And honestly, it's so I'm using the term down. The lock could be upside down like this. It's still the same. I'm considering the bottom of the keyway here, like the full. I thought I could almost do it with the back of the pick. That would have been funny. Like essentially the center of the lock is what I'm considering as down in this instance. So they're basically they're pushing it towards the center of that barrel. We, as the people who are trying to open locks, are essentially resisting that. We're acting like the key in that aspect because that's essentially what the key itself is doing. There we go. Bam. Now I do have another couple of locks that I pick on occasion. I have a master lock that I was messing around with a little bit earlier. Sometimes they give me trouble and want to be stubborn. Um, it happens. I am not I'm not an expert when it comes to picking locks. I'm fucking a rank amateur. So as well too. Um, wait, what? Wait, what? Hold on. Hold on. Huh. I'm gonna have to check something at some point in the near future, but that's neither here nor there. I'm going off on a tangent. I apologize. Uh, like, yeah, essentially there are um sorry, I got distracted by Twitch stuff because somebody went and sneakily gifted a couple more subs to my community. Um Sneaky sneakies. But anyway, oh yes, I stream on Twitch. If you are watching this live and you're not part of my Twitch community, or if you are coming after the fact and watching the VOD of this, um, usually late nights, a lot of hobby stuff, sometimes video games, fun times. Anyway, the like essentially what we're doing as far as like this is kind of to recap what I had spoken about. What we're doing as you know the person trying to gain entry to the lock. I don't want to say the lock picker because that just doesn't sound right to me. But as the person picking the lock, what we're attempting to do, and slash what we are doing, is applying a rotational force to the lock itself. Now this, like I said, and like I described earlier, is going to cause your pins here to be caught in their little channel because like uh, pretty much what we're doing is we're exploiting the tolerances that are required to be in place when building a lock. Because, and here, let me just quickly open this guy here. Doot, 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 doot. It's closer and pin one. There we go. So like as you can see, all of these pins, there's space between them and the barrel they sit in. Like you can see that kind of jiggling, hopefully. There has to be at least a tiny amount of space. And that's something that can be exploited. Because of that space and because of how the pins basically act, it's something that's kind of unavoidable with locks. Any lock can be picked, not necessarily by me. Just gonna fucking throw that out there. But any lock has the ability to be picked, just simply because of that exploit, because it can't be perfectly flush. Like the diameter of the pin can't be perfectly flush with the diameter of that cylinder. Because if it was, the pin wouldn't move. There has to be at least some sort of space there. Um, and with that, like I said, that can be exploited. Now, regardless of the legality of owning lockpicks and lockpicking in your area, um, one thing that is 100% imperative, Never pick a lock that you don't own. The locksmith, like a like an actual locksmith, is kind of exception to the rule type deal because they have to. That's part of their job. Um, but yeah, don't don't ever pick a lock that isn't your own, and don't ever pick a lock that is vital. Like, don't go and practice on your deadbolt on your front door because there is a chance that something could happen if you like ridiculously overset a pin. Maybe you push it all the way up mistakenly for some reason. Um, there's a chance that you could damage your lock, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to damage a lock that you need to use for your day to day. Now, what I like to do is I like to go out and, like I said, every now and again, just go buy a couple of padlocks, because then you're going to get a different lock, essentially a different lock and a different combination of your pins every time. So it's going to it's going to keep you fresh. You're not going to be doing the same lock over and over and over and over again and just get used to that lock. That's one of the reasons why I can open up these so quickly is like I'm used to it. I'm not used to like that they are still useful for me because I'm still not 100% used to how deep I have to go. Actually, even on this, I'm not sure. I'll click kick will show up. I kind of scratched the approximate locations for all of the pins in one of these locks because it's pretty uniform how far apart your pins are. Um, so it will like that. Doing it that way will help keep you fresh. It will help keep you know it will help you develop your skills. And honestly, this is a cool little skill to have. It may not be practical in day-to-day life. It may not be something that you will use every single day. However, it is something that, you know, it's fun to do when, sitting watching TVs, watch something on YouTube, watching, hanging out in somebody's Twitch channel. Fucking hell. I watch anime and sometimes pick up one of my locks and I'm like, you know what? I want to pick a lock. Let's do let's pick a lock while we're watching this. And as it's going, just kind of do my thing. And then pin one will release. There you go. Now I don't have too much more for today. I know this is a pretty short stream. I don't even think I made it an hour. I do intend on being back tomorrow, actually, for some more, for another stream on YouTube here. However, if you are watching this on Saturday, the 29th, yeah, the 29th of July, I will be, later tonight, I will be playing some 7 Days to Die over on my Twitch channel. You can find that by just going over to Twitch and typing in Magical Hat. You'll be able to find me there, and you can watch me talk shit and die a whole bunch to zombies. But with that, I will be bidding all of you fine folks adieu. You are all fucking awesome. Thank you very much for coming and hanging out. Those of you who are watching this after the fact, thank you very much for stopping by and please leave a comment, drop a like. You guys all know the drill. Um, I I do this because like it's enjoyable, and I want this channel to be me, showcasing some of the other hobbies past painting that I have. and this being one of them. So I hope you all have a great Saturday. Relax, maybe have a drink or two if that's your bag. And yeah, I hope you all have a great day. Cheers.